Hello and welcome to another A's UK pre-game live stream here on Sunday, September 12th. And boy, do we need a bit of luck today. Yes, it's the age-old phrase, isn't it? It's the hope that kills you. And unfortunately, yesterday, once again, it was a painfully appropriate phrase to sum up the Oakland A's. It looked like we'd turned a corner, didn't it? You know, we had won 3 in a row. We were well ahead, 6-2, everything going rosy, 3 home runs, Cole Irvin pitching really well. And then it all fell to pieces. The bullpen once again put the bull into bullshit and it all went to pot. And we are now in a situation where games are running out. We need to be winning series. We need to be having good winning weeks. We cannot afford to lose today. We really can't. I know it's not a must win in the sense that if we lose, it's all over. But if we're serious about trying to compete, we really need to do something today. And hopefully we are able to do it. So I am Matt. Hello, if you're watching live. I'm not expecting too many people to be watching live this evening because it's obviously the first Sunday back of the NFL season and all of that jive. But I had a few technical issues yesterday with a couple of things. So I thought I would have a... I've been trying a couple of things out today. I'm in a different part of the house and things like that. So I thought I'd give it a go going live. And even if you're watching on repeat, let me know if it's all gone correctly and the video is correct and the audio is correct and everything. Fingers crossed. Anyway, if you are watching live, let me know your thoughts on today's game. Let me know your thoughts on whether you think Cole Irvin should have pitched into the 8th yesterday. He was taken out after 7 innings. Who are you going to if the game is on the line? Which guy in the bullpen is the one you would want to give the ball to? Because at the moment, they're all looking shaky. And what about KD? Is today the day that we get a KD crush once again, and we get a nice long ball or 2 by Chris Davis at the Coliseum? Let's hope so. Anyway, if you are watching live, please do get in contact via the comments, either on the YouTube chat or on Periscope, just to say hello, or if you've got any questions, do let me know. We will be going through yesterday's game, only briefly because it's painful. Looking at the wildcard situation, only briefly because it's painful. And then looking ahead to today's game, looking at the lineup and all of that. So, should be a good one today. And we desperately need a win, don't we? Because yesterday was a nightmare. But a new day is another chance to get a win. And part of the reason it's so important is that tomorrow we have an off day. So Monday is an off day, and it's our final off day of the season. After tomorrow, we then have 16 straight games to end the season. And yeah, we don't need to be going into this final off day on a bad note, to be. Today's game, same as yesterday. It's a 1:07 p.m. start time at the Coliseum. So 9:07 here in the UK. So a nice way to end the weekend here in the UK with a bit of A's baseball in the evening. And hopefully we get a better outcome than what we did yesterday when we had the latest bullpen blow up to cost us. And we can go into some of the details on that. And like I say, we're not going to go too far into it. But I think more than anything, what was so disappointing about yesterday's game was that Cole Irvin has been having a bit of a struggle recently. We spoke about that in the pre-game yesterday. Just had a little bump in the road. It's his first full season as a major league starter. So it was to be expected, but he looked really good. Didn't he? He was attacking the zone. He was looking composed out on the mound. He was doing really well. And there's a debate there as to whether Bob Melvin should have taken him out after 7 innings. I don't have a strong feeling either way particularly. I do feel that given how much he'd struggled recently, getting 7 innings from him was more than we would have imagined we would get. And even though he'd only thrown 93 pitches, there was a little bit in the back of my head, which is, well, if he comes out for the 8th, has to face the hitters again, lets the first couple of guys on, then it all goes to pot. Then not only have we lost the game, but he's lost the confidence boost he's had by pitching a really good performance. So I can understand why Bob Melvin took him out. Romo has generally been good this season. Chafin has been fantastic this season. So guys didn't make pitches, did they? Romo didn't have anything. Chafin gave up a meatball, and that was it. It was a bullpen blow up, top of the 8th, 5-run top of the 8th, 6-2 lead, and it all went to pot. And it let the 3 home runs go to waste, didn't we? So we can have a quick look at hopefully we can have a quick look at the stats. So in terms of the pitching stuff, there we go. So yeah, Cole Irvin, 7 innings pitched, gave up 6 hits, 2 earned runs. Really good. And 8 strikeouts. It's not so much of a strikeout guy, like a lot of lefties. He's sort of 92 mile per hour fastball. So he's not a big strikeout guy, but very good yesterday. 8 strikeouts to 1 walk. But oh dear, look at that. Romo, 4 earned runs. Chafin, disaster. Even Petit. And Romo and Petit were guys who pitched in the previous game and pitched the clean inning. You thought, yes, that's them back on track. But no, maybe not. And we have to say with that the bullpen, the stats just don't look good, do they? Let's have a look. Over the last 19 games, this is from Martin Gallegos, the A's beat writer on MLB.com. Over the last 19 games, A's relievers have posted a 6.75 ERA with 8 blown saves. So that's 8 blown saves out of our last 19 games. That is making it very difficult to win much and very difficult to keep any sort of momentum going, because there's nothing more demoralizing, nothing more confidence sapping than being in the lead and letting it go late. And that's what's happening. David, always good to hear from you, mate. David Selby, I agree, Matt. 7 innings was enough for Irvin, let the bullpen. Exactly. And I think it is very frustrating after the game. I was struggling to get to sleep after the game last night, so I made the foolish mistake of trying to engage a few people on Twitter, which was a bad idea. Let's be honest. We know what some people are like, but it's always the way with managers. Whichever way you go with bullpen decisions, pitching decisions, changing people in the lineup, if you lose, you're there to be shot at. I think that happens more with baseball than most sports, but it's the same in football or anything else. You make substitutions. You know, if you lose, you can always be second guessed by the people in the crowd and by the people on Twitter. And it was a fair enough decision, I think. 7 strong innings from Cole. There was no guarantee he was going to carry on that way. So I wouldn't have been particularly surprised if it had come out for the 8th, but I thought it was a fair enough decision. Just didn't work out, did it? So hopefully they can get it done and change things around pretty quickly. Obviously, James Kaprelian is on the mound today. Like Cole Irvin, has had a few struggles of late, so hopefully he can be inspired by the outing that Cole Irvin had and put in a good performance too. Let's have a look at the hitters from yesterday. So there we go. Yet more frustration really with the game, because Oli, Starling Marte and Mark Canna all went deep. Marte with an absolute bomb. And it all went to waste, unfortunately. One thing I will say, I mean, we scored in each of the first 3 innings, I think it was, if not 4. And then the bats went quiet the rest of the way. So you could put a little bit of that on the offense. But let's be honest, when you score 6 runs, you should be winning a game. And very, very disappointed that we didn't. Credit to the Rangers. I mean, Charlie Culberson played very well at third base, putting a few Chappie-esque plays at third base on the Coliseum infield there. And the Rangers kept fighting. You know, they're well out of it in terms of the standings, but every team has something to play for. Every player has something to play for. Jarrell Cosson, former A, Squeaky, as we like to call him, pitched pretty well. You know, there are guys out there trying to win a job for next year, trying to impress. So there's no easy games in Major League Baseball, even at the end of a season where some teams don't seem to have a lot to play for. Every player has their professional pride and is wanting to get something out of the season. So we've got to fight, and we've got to show that we can come through these struggles, particularly that bullpen, and get it right. So we're getting it right. Let's have a look at the wildcard race, because this is getting very dangerous. Toronto, they had their loss against Baltimore. We all cheered, wow, 8-game winning streak, and then they lose to Baltimore. Well, if you were thinking that too hard, boy, if the Toronto Blue Jays come back on that. Yesterday, they swept a doubleheader, took them into the extra innings in game 1. And actually, Rude, starting pitcher, got knocked for 7 earned runs. So that's an incredible comeback there. Len won the second game comfortably 11-2. I checked the score about 5 minutes ago. It was the 6th inning, and the Blue Jays were leading, I think it was 22-4. So I think you can take it as read the Blue Jays are going to hold on to that one. I think even maybe the A's bullpen could hold an 18-run lead, although let's not put any money on it, I think. But yeah, Toronto right back on form. The Yankees beat the Mets yesterday, 8-7, so they lost the opener but won yesterday. Boston again lost the opener on Friday but won yesterday against the White Sox, 9-8 in 10 innings. They absolutely destroyed Dylan Cease. The White Sox starting pitcher, 7 runs in the 3rd inning. White Sox came back and fought them, but the Red Sox were able to come through. The one piece of good news yesterday from the other games was that Seattle lost to Arizona. As I mentioned yesterday in the pregame show, the Mariners have really been beating up on the D-backs, as you can, but they lost yesterday 7-3. So hopefully the D-backs can do us another favor there and knock the Mariners into shape. But as always, we're in a situation we're on the outside looking in. Yes, we need other teams to step up, but we've got to concentrate on our own jobs. And this is what the wildcard standings now look like. So this is before today's games. It's Boston in a small lead ahead of the Yankees and Blue Jays, that they're together on the same record. Then we are on the outside looking in alongside Seattle, 77 and 65, 2 games out of the Yankees and Blue Jays. And that just makes it all the more important that we beat the Rangers today, have a day off tomorrow, and then really go at it next week against the Royals and the Angels. We'll be previewing that in a few minutes' time. But first off, we're going to have a look at today's lineups and things like that, because it's such an important game. We need to make sure we get everything together in terms of a good lineup, a good starting performance from James Kaprielian. But we do have a blow when it comes to the lineup, and it happened yesterday. Looking at the details here. Let me see. So Matt Chapman is not in the lineup. We'll go into that in a little bit more detail in a moment. But that means Josh Harrison moves to third base. Tony Kemp is in at second base. Otherwise, it's the same with Yan Gomes getting another start and KD getting another start at designated hitter. So today is a day for KD to do some crushing, hopefully. And yes, in terms of that blow with Matt Chapman, Bob Melvin said after the game, Chappie has been dealing with a bit of an issue recently in terms of discomfort in his lower left leg. He hit it again with a foul ball yesterday, so that flared it up again. Melvin's quote after the game was, "This is something that's been going on for a little while," and he kind of re-injured it again today. So he's not in the lineup today. Hopefully it's not too bad. But the last thing we need is one of our better players to be out for any length of time at this point in the season. In terms of who the A's are going to be facing today, it is Taylor Hearn, a guy who I don't know too much about prior to doing some research. I would admit he's a left-handed big old guy, 6'6". Spent most of the season in the bullpen, but just recently has switched to the starting rotation. He's made 4 starts recently, I think. They sort of ramped his innings up from mid-July on and switched to rotation on August 17th. So yes, 4 starts since then, 5 innings each against Seattle and Cleveland, then a good 6 2/3 against Houston. And then last time out, very good, really, against the Angels, 7 innings pitched, 3 earned runs allowed on 7 hits. Did give up 2 home runs, but basically that's a good outing, isn't it? 7 innings pitched. You take that each time. The A's have faced him 3 times so far this season in a reliever role. First time on June 22nd, we knocked him around for 4 runs, but he's been a bit better in the other 2 outings we've had against him. Has got a big arm, 95-mile-per-hour fastball as a lefty, which is a lot. Generally, his fastball slider against left-handed hitters. He then mixes in a slider and a change against righties. But yes, that's what we've got coming at us, and we need the batters to be on top of him today. We were on top of their starting pitcher yesterday and didn't make it count, but boy, do we need to avoid going behind today. As for the A's, it's James Kaprielian on a man for a Russ. Never mind the bollocks, it's James Kaprielian, and we need a good start from Cap today. He had a really rough August, capped off in the final game when he allowed 6 runs against his former team, the New York Yankees. First up of September was also a bit dicey against the Detroit Tigers, gave up 4 runs in 4 innings. But last time out was a bit better, we have to say. Although it was only 4 innings against the Chicago White Sox, he looked a bit more under control in that one. So hopefully, as we saw with Cole yesterday, hopefully he can feel like he's back in a rhythm a little bit and is able to go 6 innings or so today. We desperately need it, don't we? We don't have much confidence in the bullpen right now. Cap faced Seattle in back-to-back starts earlier in the season at the end of May. Fantastic in the first one, went 7 scoreless, but the Mariners got their own back on him in the next one, 4 earned runs in 3 2/3 innings. Just had a rough 4th inning, blanked him in the first 3, and then gave up the 3-run home run to Donovan Walton in that one, and he got knocked out of the game early. But Generally speaking, he's done pretty well. Mainly a fastball slider guy against right-handed hitters. 10% changeup used against them. Doesn't really use his slider against left-handed hitters. It's mainly changing curve against lefties as his off-speed pitches. But yes, we need a good start from Cap because there's so little confidence in the bullpen right now. We just need him to go 6 innings. If we're going deep, I mean, we've got a couple of guys in there now. Dalton Jeffries went a few innings recently, and Miguel Romero would be good to see him get some innings. I know he's been brought up from the minors with the intention that he will be pitching in long relief. So maybe we'll see him today. It depends how Cap goes, really. But yes, very disappointing so far, but we need to finish off the week on a good note. If we lose today, then that means it's a 3-3 week at the homestand, and that is just not good enough. It's not good enough at any point in the season, but especially not now. We need to be going 4-2 this week. Need a big effort from you boys today. And then that is needed. As I mentioned, we've got the off day tomorrow, but then we are starting 16 days, 16 games to finish off the season. And here is the schedule for the coming week. So off day tomorrow, no A's baseball, and then we are on the road to Kansas City and then Anaheim. Kansas City, the 3 games there. First 2 night games in Kansas City. Then it's a day game on the Thursday, so that's 7:10 p.m. in the evening UK time. So what would that be? 11:10 a.m. out there in Oakland. Friday and Saturday are night games in Anaheim, but we've got same start time as we have today is next Sunday too, 9:07 p.m. here in the UK, 1:07 p.m. out there in California. And in terms of that Royal Series, the A's have announced probable pitchers for that. Frankie Montas going on Tuesday, Sean Manaea on Wednesday, facing former Oakland A, Mike Minor, Hannah's favourite, and Paul Blackburn going in the day game on Thursday. So we need a big effort from all of those. Just need everyone to start stepping up, don't we? You know, it's difficult at the moment. You don't want to keep piling on the bullpen, but let's be honest, they've just not been performing, and we need the offense to have their back and to stick some runs on the board. We need Cap to have their back and go at least 6 innings today. And fingers crossed he can. Fingers crossed he can be inspired by Cole Evans' performance yesterday. Like him, in his first full season as a major league starter, that has some bumps in the road, but Cole Evans turned it around yesterday, and hopefully Cap can do exactly the same today, but we never know. This is Carl. Your favorite Met fan is here. Always good to have you on, Carl. You must have more screens in front of you than Elvis used to have in his, whatever it was, Graceland mansions. You've got your NFL Red Zone and all of that on, but you're getting ready for the baseball. Surely you must be confident, Carl. I don't know why you'd be confident, but you must be. We all must be confident because it's the A's, and we need to be turning things around and really getting on top of the Rangers because they're a team we should be beating. We should be winning the series against the Texas Rangers. It's not really good enough not to. We can't expect to be making the playoffs, never mind do any damage in the playoffs if we can't take advantage against a team like the Rangers. The A's should have Martin Olsen to shove those bats up the Hearn and the Rangers bullpen. Yes, well, they need to do something, don't they? Some would say our bullpen could do with having something shoved up them at the moment. Actually, maybe that would do us more good. Maybe we need to. I mean, it's something I know some people are talking about on Twitter. Do you need to have a big meeting? I know Yankees fans, Yankees media in particular, have been talking about the fact that the New York Yankees seem to have had more team meetings this year than most HR teams have had this year, and sometimes it works, most of the time it doesn't. So I think the idea of Bob Melvin going in and shouting the odds and all of that, I don't think it really works like that in baseball. I don't think firing people up is the way to get the best out of them. In baseball, it works obviously in the NFL and sports like that, but I'm not so sure baseball is that sort of game. These guys clearly are trying the hardest. They've got to execute their pitches. Here we go. Bob Melvin can smack all up relief pitchers before they go to the bullpen for motivational purposes. Yes, it was like that that clip that went viral of was it the German gymnast or something, or Polish, and their coach just basically shook them and slapped them in the face as their pre-routine ritual which, yes, there we go. I'm not sure that would go down well in some places, but there we go. We did have the one nice thing we had yesterday here in the UK was Emma, what's her name, winning the tennis, so that was quite good. Football today, well, it's been good for Dom. It's good for our Dom and String and our fellow Liverpool fans who are also A's fans. They at least had a win today. Not good for Harvey Elliott, the young player, very talented young player. Looks like he's suffered a bad injury. But hopefully the A's can at least raise the spirits of everyone with a wonderful performance. Cap being brilliant, and the A's getting a win against the Rangers. He needs to mentor it. Break down a bullpen and build them up again. Yeah, destroy them. Emma Raducanu, you twat. Thank you, Carl. Thank you. Very kind of you. That's the one, Raducanu. It's like the one who used to play for Arsenal. Anyway, there we go. I am looking forward to the game, actually. If you'd have asked me earlier this afternoon, I wouldn't have been. But as the day has worn on, I think, you know what? This is when we'll see what the A's are really made of. We've had so many blows so far. Come on, the A's. Come on, James Caprillion. We need you to come through for us. We need the bats to absolutely obliterate the Rangers today. We know that KD is going deep. It's written in the stars that KD is going deep. Whether it's going to be a grand slam, I don't know. That's probably asking for too much. But KD is going to go deep today. We may have Yan Gomes. Yan Gomes, we wanted him to go deep yesterday, but he didn't. But maybe today is his day. Playing 2 games in a row, that should be good for him to get his eye in at the plate. So Yan Gomes is going to come through. KD is going to come through. We are going to mash them, and that's all we need. Come on, Ghost of Connie Mack. We need everything behind us. We need spirits. We need everything, basically. A bit of magic, a bit of cunning, a bit of Starling Marte genius, a bit of Matteo Oppo Boppo, and a bit of KD Crush. That's what we need today, and we're going to get it. Fingers crossed. Anyway, there we go. Thank you, everyone who has been watching live. As I mentioned, I know it's NFL Sunday today, so wasn't expecting many people to be watching live, but I had a few technical issues yesterday, so I've been trying out some technical stuff today, and it all seems to be working nice and fine. In a different part of the house, I'm going off a network cable rather than going off Wi-Fi, and that's improves things hugely. So that seems to have worked. And yes, let's enjoy today's game. If the bullpen allows us to get a win today, win the series, win the week 4 and 2, have a lovely day off tomorrow, and then the A's can really get everything together for the final 16 game push, starting with that 3-game series in Kansas City on Tuesday to Thursday. Thanks a lot for watching. If you're watching on YouTube on the repeat, then do consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, and then you will be notified, or I think you have to click the bell, don't you, to be notified of when live streams go live. And also, as we note down there, follow us along on at Oakland A UK on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram as well, where we will be tweeting nonsense and sometimes some interesting stuff too. Finally, the last promo, well, 2 promos, of course. If you haven't visited our oaklandauk.store as yet, please do so. Lots of great merch on there. And finally, as I mentioned yesterday, our latest podcast episode, Season 2, Episode 13, is live. We talked all about KD's return, talked all about the struggles the A's have had recently, and tried to find reasons to be optimistic. We even had a lovely KD quiz. So that's available for all of the usual podcast platforms, and about a 20-minute sort of excerpt from that podcast is now available on our YouTube channel too. If I set it up publishing correctly, I will check at the end of this video just to make sure it did publish correctly as scheduled. But yes, so have a watch of that, subscribe to the podcast, subscribe across all the social media platforms, and enjoy some A's baseball, or at least enjoy suffering with us, and then we'll be okay. Yes. Next live stream, I suspect, will be after the game on Thursday. So that is, again, 7:10 on Thursday UK time, so 11:10 Oakland time in the morning. So we will be doing a live stream after that game, hopefully to celebrate a win, hopefully to celebrate a sweep of the Royals. But the Royals have actually been much better in the last, well, since the All-Star break, in fact, than their overall win-loss record would suggest. So they're no mugs. We need to take advantage, just like the Rangers too. The Rangers proved yesterday they're no mugs. They're not just going to roll over because the season is done. They're going to keep fighting, and if they can keep fighting and showing that heart and fight and desire, And you know the A's should be able to, and I'm sure they will. Come on, the A's. Thanks everyone for watching. And we shall hopefully be back on Thursday for our live stream with the A's having some nice wins on the board and right back in the wildcard race. We're right there in the wildcard race. It just feels we're slipping away, even though we're right there. We need to make a push now, and hopefully that push is going to come this week. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you soon.